for all you to start making way more money than just having a job, which you guys probably have maybe like 1 day off and or 2 days off, and then the rest of the week you guys work. But when you guys have a business, you really any day you have a break, but you still work hard, or else you lose your business. But yeah, I just wanted to say, so have any of you guys tried to learn a Rubik's cube? How to solve a Rubik's cube?
I've
Yeah.
tried and failed miserably.
So, I bet some of you guys have searched up YouTube videos how to learn tricks to solve it, like this one, and then you just keep going and going. But in real life, you can't try finding shortcuts to working hard or to make money. You have to go through the hard stuff. You have to go through all the crap, all the people's bad attitude. You can't expect people to be all nice and to be happy with you or failing miserably. I don't know. I mean, I know maybe dad, I know he had some hard years, as he's told us sometimes. But like, you can't really just go expect that the world is going to be nice to you. This is a real world, and you can't be like that. I mean, if you're like that, I know you're going to not do good in life, and then you start whining and crying because you wonder why you're not making money. But like, just try. If you get, let's say you get a recruit or like a check or whatever, and you're like, yes, yes, I got a check, yes. But then you're like, okay, now I'm gonna start, like, then you just stop because you got that one check. Like, girls, I know, let's say you have curly hair or you have straight hair, like you're curling your hair. You don't just stop on one side and one is straight. Or if you're curling your hair, you don't have one side straight and one side curly, because you just accomplished one side of your hair, but you didn't accomplish the other. But like, or guys, thank you, Reagan. But guys, if you guys are like, I don't know, shaving, you guys have one really hairy leg and then one like really smooth leg and then one really hairy. I mean, that's like kind of odd to have. So I just want to say, like, you can't stop once you get something that you really wanted. Like, you get this really cool, I don't know, Reagan keeps staring at me. You get really something really cool and then you stop working. And so, I mean, you got bills to pay, or if you have kids, you have kids to feed, all that stuff. So you don't want to lose everything. So, yeah, thank you.
Great job, Tatum. Hey, babe, tell them. Okay, so when you work hard, then we have a philosophy: work your butt off, right? Work hard and then play hard. So where have you gone on vacation? Just some of the places.
I've gone to Hawaii, Bahamas, a bunch of times to New York, because that's Dad's favorite place. So like 4,000 times to Kansas City, because that's where our cousins live. Um, California, the beach.
Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico.
Dominican Republic.
Yes.
Like a lot of different places. Yeah. And that's great, Tatum. And I'm so proud of you, babe. You did a great job. So give her a big round of applause right there. Good job, Tatum.
Good job, Tatum. Proud of you.
So Dan, when you're shaving your legs, bro, make sure you shave both legs. Okay. All right. That's great, Tatum. I love that analogy. That was really, really, really good. All right. So the reason why, I wanted you to understand is like, man, the life that we all can live, I'm just telling you, it's way beyond anything that we all have imagined when we started. Like, I never imagined financial independence would be like this good. I never thought in a million years. So it's worth it. Now, what I wanted to do is open it up for questions. I want everyone to write down one question you have. Okay, I'm going to give you a minute to write down the question. And you got to write something down, because if I call on you and you say you don't have anything, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to have you answer everybody's question, because obviously you know everything, right? So
I'm gonna turn off my video, but I'm still gonna be listening.
Okay, all right. So I want everyone to write down one question. I'll give you 1 minute and then we'll get to it, okay? All right. So let's go ahead and open it up. Who has a first question?
I'll go first,
All right, go for it, Myra.
just to get it all over with. So, what's the hardest hurdle? I guess if I'm pronouncing that right, I can never pronounce that word correctly. What's the hardest obstacle you or Nubia have faced in the business besides the no's that you have faced, and how did you get past those?
That's a good question. There's a lot, okay? Like, you know, just remember this, is that this is the mistake a lot of people make. They think, oh, if it's really meant to be, like if I'm meant to be successful, then I'm not gonna have any obstacles, or my obstacles that I have to overcome are gonna be super easy because then it's meant to be and blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
That's BS. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The first thing that shocked me was when my pastor, we became Christians it's coming up on 4 years ago. And the first thing he said to me, he goes, "Mark, are you sure you want to be a Christian?" And I said, "Well, yeah, I mean, you kind of closed me on the deal. So, what's the deal?" Right. And he goes, "No, I'm just warning you." I said, "Warning me for what?" He goes, "Because the second you pick up that cross and carry that cross, a whole load of shit is going to come your way." Okay, now he didn't say shit. He's a pastor. Okay, I just, emphasized. Oh, my daughter's still on the call. Sorry. A whole bunch of crap. So, but he said it's going to be tough. Don't expect it to be easy. Just because you're Christian doesn't mean that life becomes easy. No. It just means that you're going to have a partner with you, in Jesus, that is going to ride or die with you through all the hard times, and the best partner you can possibly have. So the hard times are still going to come. It's just you're going to be better equipped to handle them. And I go, whoa, that's because a lot of people think that, oh, as soon as I become a Christian, everything becomes easy. And then when they still hit hard times, they blame God, right? Well, this is the thing, is that you're going to have a series of obstacles, and I can't predict what it's going to be for you. I can explain, like for me, some of them were financial issues, especially in my early 20s when I was starting. Some of them were skill set issues. I didn't know how to overcome. I want to think it over for like 12 years. Some of them are licensing issues. For some people, it wasn't for me, but for some people it is. Some people it's people skills, like they're super shy. Like I was super shy. So I had to learn to overcome that shyness. That one is a big one. I think the rejection part is always going to be typically is going to be number one area of concern. Overcome, you got to kind of develop this kind of thick skin, kind of like a tough outer coating that when people reject you, it just kind of bounces off you like Superman. But I think the biggest thing, Myra, is in looking back on my career, what I would tell you is this. What is going to help you so much is if you get a schedule, okay? A real, fundamental schedule, like, every day I'm doing this, okay? And we're going to get into that a little bit later on, but I'll kind of, brief it. If you're sending out 25 messages a day to friends, families, Facebook, social media, whatever, because like there's a billion people out there, and I don't know how many people live in the US, but a lot, right? Millions and millions and millions. So there's plenty of people to talk to. Okay. And everyone seems to be a friend of a friend of a friend of a friend, like that kind of thing. So there's always a reference. It's always at least lukewarm. So sending out 25 messages, you could do that in 15 minutes. like copy paste, and away we go, right? But so what's easy to do is also easy not to do. So the biggest hurdle, Myra, I think, is priorities. It's understanding, you know, God first, immediate family second, but then Primerica third, your business, because this is your, Andrew, this is your business. As important as your, you know, Andrew owns a, like a breakfast shop, like a coffee shop, right? Is that right, Andrew? Yeah. So if he doesn't show up, like what happens tomorrow morning if you don't show up?
The business doesn't run. Since I'm the one that makes everything homemade and I have to make all the flour, donuts, or the pastries, if I don't start everything or pre-make everything, then it just doesn't run.
That's right. And in a traditional business, like a tangible, like insurance is traditional, but it's not, there's no tangible product. You know, there's not a donut, you know, right? So it's very easy for us to rationalize, say, oh yeah, if Andrew doesn't show up and open the door, well then damn, of course his business is going to go out of business, right? That's very easy to understand. But in our business, because it, you know, we have a very flexible schedule and there's no door to actually open. So many people go out of business and they refuse to open their business because they're always doing something else because their priorities are messed up. So that's what I would always say is find a time in the day to unlock your front door so that business can come in. And now you got to do the marketing so that people can come in the door. So you got to send messages out so that people will message you back. And that's the way it works. Okay. So Myra, does that help right there?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it does. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Cool. Good question. Jeremy, go ahead.
Okay. I work a day job. You know, it's supposed to be 7 to 3:30, but usually I don't get off till about 5 in
Okay.
the afternoon. How do I manage that time? Because I guess to me, the prime time to be to talk to people would be in the daytime. And so I drive a propane truck, and it's really hard for me to get on meetings in the daytime. And you know, I've been on there a couple times with you, but it's really hard for me to manage that time and still make phone calls and
Perfect. Okay, so this is an easy one, Jeremy, and it's a, you know, it's certainly a great question, but it's an easy answer. The great thing about, you know, nowadays texting, you can text people anytime, pretty much. I mean, you don't want to text them at 2 o'clock in the morning. That's kind of weird, right? Okay, stalker or something like that. But as soon as you get, this is what I would do. And remember this, okay, let me ask you this. So we did the Andrew thing where, you know, if he doesn't open his door, he's going out of business. Now, Jeremy, you have a job. So if you don't show up to drive that truck, are you eventually going to get fired?
Yeah.
Absolutely, right? So same thing here is the reason why Jeremy shows up, you know, to that job is because there's a proverbial gun to his head. Like the boss is sitting there saying, Jeremy, if you don't show up, you're gone. And then he understands no job, no money, right? And no money, no house. No house, you know, all that, right? No girlfriend. Okay. So that's how, what I always did. Okay. And I'll tell you a quick story that I told this morning in the training there. There's this lady named Myrna Guerrero, and she and I, a lot of friction. Okay. She was not a part of our hierarchy, but she was officing, she and her husband were officing out of our office. We were helping them. They had just moved from California. And she and I didn't get along that great. Okay. And so what I would do is, now, do we all get lazy sometimes? We all do, right? So what I would do is I needed, every day I had to set my appointments. And for me, the goal was 10 because I was full-time. So I didn't have a job. So I said, I'm going to set 10 appointments every morning. And so sometimes I just wasn't motivated. So what I did was I would get out of my office, and there's like 30 people in our office, full-timers working and all that kind of stuff. And I would tell everyone, I would yell out and say, hey, everyone, I just want you to know, if I don't set my 10 appointments by 1 o'clock, I'm going to pay Myrna Guerrero $500 cash. Right, Mauro, exactly. Okay. Like, whoa, okay, right? That's called putting your ass on the line, okay? So now, Andrew, let me ask you this. Do you think I ever once paid her $500?
No.
Never. Now, remember, I said this in front of 30 people, so there's witnesses. Okay, so I could not cheat. I couldn't lie. So I said, I'm paying you $500. So there's 30 people staring at me until 1 o'clock going, how many appointments you got, Mark? How many appointments you got, Mark? Oh my gosh, are you gonna pay Myrna $500? Oh my God, oh my gosh, oh my God. And I'm like, man, there ain't no way I'm gonna pay her $500. So when when Julio would come knocking on my door and saying, hey, Mark, do you have just 1 minute? I have a quick question, which we all know what that means. 1 minute turns into 1 hour, right? So I said, nope, I ain't got time. I got to set my appointments. Now, after I get my 10th appointment, Julio, you can have all you want of me. But my priority is setting 10 because I ain't paying $500, right? That's how I kept myself on point. So how does that translate to you? Okay, it's very easy, Jeremy, to get off of work and be tired. Obviously, you're driving a truck. I mean, that's hard work. But we established sending out 25 messages really takes like 15 minutes. So it's easy to do, but it's also easy not to do. So what I would suggest, put your butt on the line and do it with someone who you don't like. Let's be straight, be honest, because that'll give you the motivation. So Jeremy, who's a hater of yours that always says, that Primerica thing, it's not going to work?
Well, I'm in St. Louis, so I could pick from just go up and down the line and pick haters.
Yeah.
If I wanted to, but Mark, on the real, I think the biggest, I'm gonna say I'm a hater of myself, but I think the biggest issue is it's me standing in my way. I don't really have anybody that's hating on me.
Well, remember this, Jeremy, it's always us standing in the way of ourselves. Like we are, like my biggest blockage is me, right? Mauro's is him, the 6 inches between our ears. So that's what I'm saying. And it could be whoever it is, but it's got to be someone that you just don't want to pay money to. Okay. And then you say, okay, if I don't if I don't send my 25 messages out, I owe $50 or $25 or whatever. And some people say, well, I can't afford that. Exactly. That's the point. That's the point.
Well,
go ahead.
Yeah, I guess I could do that. I don't want to pay nobody any money. So
right.
Yeah.
That's
right.
Ask, Julio, Drusilla, Ramona and Charlie, Yesenia and Jasmine, and the list goes on. But those are the big ones. That's how they got to RVP. And Ceci also, Dan was in the base shop when they were in the base shop, and boy, they would put their butt on the line, and it got them to RVP because every day they were grinding, every day, even when they didn't want to. I always tell people there's only 2 meetings you got to attend, the ones you want to and the ones you don't. Simple as that, right? So in this case, there's only 2 days that you need to set appointments, or send messages out, the days you want to and the days you don't, right? Okay. So Jeremy, that's a great question. Hopefully that helps. Okay. Who else has one? Mauro, go ahead.
Yeah. So my question was, how would you present the opportunity of either recruiting someone or the service of Primerica out in public? Because Jeremy, I work in the day, so I talk to a lot of people that I could, but I wouldn't know what to say to them.
Good. Okay. Now, how do you talk to them? Like on your job or what?
Yeah, my job.
And what do you do again?
I work at GNC as a cashier.
Oh my gosh. Okay, perfect. Oh my God, GNC, dude, you're in a gold mine because all the people that come in there are athletes. They're competitive. Oh my God.
Yeah, they're motivated people. Yeah.
Oh, okay. First off, don't worry about the services. Don't talk to people about insurance. No one gets turned on. Like, it's going to be so difficult to set appointments like that because you come off as a salesperson. What I would do is use what we call the third-party training system. So it's simple. Like, let's role play this. Okay. So Mauro, you come in. I work for GNC, okay? And Mauro, you're the guy that comes in because he needs some protein powder or something like that, okay? All right. So now we chatted and I've helped you, you know, and okay, so Mauro, your total is $92.89 because that shit is expensive, okay? So do you mind, Mauro, if I ask you a quick question? I know this is kind of crazy, but can I ask you a quick question?
Yeah, sure.
What is it you do for a living?
I actually work part-time at another GNC.
Oh, really? Oh my gosh, we should know each other. What the heck? Well, the reason why I ask is because I have a friend that is really good in business. I mean, he is very successful, and he's looking for motivated, ambitious people. And he asked me to be on the lookout for good quality people, you know, competitive with a great attitude. And, you know, we've been talking for a few minutes and boy, I really like your attitude. And would you be offended if he gave you a call? Okay. So write that sentence down. Would you be offended if he gave you a call? Would you be offended if he gave you a call? Now, why does that work? Because think about it like this. Who would be offended, right? Like how are they gonna say it? Like, yes, I would be offended. Like you sound like a total douche, right? Okay. So there's, you know, like you can't say no to that. And it's such a subtle way to say it, it actually brings them in. Like it makes you look what's the right word? Trustworthy. Because I'm not pushing it. I'm not pushing it. I'm just saying, hey, Mauro, would you be offended if my friend gave you a call?
No, not at all.
Not at all. See how simple that is? And I'm telling you, it's that simple. Now, they may ask you one question. Okay. So, Mauro, ask me, what is it all about?
What's it all about, though?
That's a good question. I don't know all the details because I really haven't had a lot of time to get into the details of it, but it has to do with finance. But he's not looking for experience. He's just looking for people that are very competitive and have a great attitude. Does that describe you?
Yeah, I think it does.
Yeah. See, notice, so there's another question or a sentence I would write down. Does that describe you? He's looking for motivated with a great attitude. Okay, and you can insert your two criteria, whatever you like. It doesn't matter. But motivated and motivated and great attitude are two that I like to use. And does that describe you? So now I'm kind of putting him on the defensive. It's like if we're boxing, now I'm starting to throw the punches, right? And he's kind of on his heels, and so he has to sell himself to me. So does that describe you? Now Mauro's like, oh yeah, it does describe me. Absolutely. I'm very motivated and I show up early and I'm right? And yeah, I'm always positive. I'm always looking for something better, and so now you get the number, say, okay, well, let me get your number and I'll have him give you a call if he has time, or his assistant will give you a call. And I always throw that in, or his assistant, because that way it makes me look, because I do have an assistant, but it elevates my credibility to a very high level so that when I call, they don't ghost me or they treat me with respect, because then they'll listen to me. So does that make sense, Mauro?
Yeah, actually, I wanted to ask you if you would repeat the first thing you said, the first part of it that you said.
Sure.
It's actually because I'm recording on my phone now. That way I can listen to it and memorize it.
Love it. So, Mauro, can I ask you a crazy question? Now, you gotta say it like that. Can I ask you a crazy question, or can I ask you a weird question? Something
yeah, sure,
like,
go ahead.
Okay. So can I ask you a crazy question, Mauro?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. I have a friend that owns a very successful business and he's looking for quality people. They're opening up locations. I don't know a lot of detail about it. But he just asked me to keep my eyes open for someone who's very motivated with a great attitude. And I love what I learned with you and all of that. You're from Chicago and blah 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 blah. And so would you be offended if I gave him your number or if he gave you a call?
Not at all.
Not at all. What's it all about? it's all of, I don't know all the details, but it's about financial services. He's in the financial services business, but he can obviously fill you in on the details. So I can have him give you a call or one of his assistants, and then you go from there. And that's really important. And now when I'm meeting him, okay, so let's go even before I talk to him about the business. So now, Mauro, you're the customer, and I just want you to come in and ask for some protein powder or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I just came in today because I was looking to get some protein powder.
Cool. Okay, great. Sure. What flavor are you looking for?
Peanut butter.
Peanut butter? All right. My favorite, even though it may not be. I don't know, whatever. Okay, right. But peanut butter, my favorite. That's cool, man. So are you, where do you work out at?
I go to EOS.
Oh, EOS, man, that new one down the street on Estrella is phenomenal. That's
It's
really
pretty nice, pretty big.
Yeah, it is, right? How long you been a member there?
Just about a little over a year.
Okay, cool. And are you from Phoenix or where are you from?
Yeah, I stay on the west side in Glendale.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm in Litchfield Park. That's cool. We're really close. That's great. So now notice what I'm finding out. These are not just random questions. These are questions to start building a connection, okay? Because if he just says, yeah, I'm looking for some protein powder, and then I say, okay, what flavor? And he says peanut butter, and I say, okay, here it is. By the way, are you interested in an opportunity? He'll be like, what? I don't even know you. Like, why? What? It would be kind of weird, right? So you got to kind of start talking to him, okay? Asking questions. So where are you from, right? That's my favorite one, especially if they're from out of town. It's always fun to talk about whatever city is going on, right? And oh, you're from Minneapolis. Wow, man, what's the temperature like up there right now? Blah, blah, blah. It's 0 degrees. Oh my gosh, are you a Vikings fan or yeah, I love the Vikings. Oh my gosh. And, so then you're talking about whatever, but the more and more you talk to him, the more and more the connection starts to happen. And then once it's like this, now you can ask the question about recruiting. Would you be interested in blah, 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 blah. Okay. So that's really, really important to carry that. Just ask some basic questions. Okay.
That's great. Thank you for repeating that. I got it.
Absolutely. That was great. That's awesome, man. That's really cool. Proud of you. That's what I used to do. I used to record everything. I mean, take notes, record everything, and then study it when I would get done. So, all right. Who else has a question?
Hey, Mark.
Yeah.
What is the most important tool to have when you first starting off?
Your mouth. I know that sounds crazy, right? But really, that tool will make you millions, okay? So opening your mouth. And yes, in the beginning, you're going to say everything wrong, probably, okay? Like everyone, right? I used to say some of the dumbest things. But you don't get better without making mistakes. So I would make a mistake, then I would go back, I would learn about, I would think about it man, why did they say no? Why did they do that? And I would talk to my coach, who at that time happened to be my dad. And I say, Dad, why did they say no? I said this, this, and this. And then he would say, oh, because you said this, this, and this. You should have said this, this, and that, right? And so every time you open your mouth, you go back to your coach and then rehash the situation, and then they'll guide you in the right direction. Gotcha. Now, Marvin, are you talking about more like equipment, like phones and computers and that kind of stuff? Or I know you probably weren't thinking.
No, just exactly what I asked. What is the most important tool to have? And you answer that, your mouth.
Cool. Yeah, it is by far. I mean, back in the day, that's all we had, and a notepad. Yeah. So, all right, Chris, what question do you have? Oh, you're on mute. You're on mute. Chris, there you go.
Sorry, man.
That's all right.
Well, my question would be what would be a simple text message you would send out to a friend that aren't really friends? You're just friends, kind of.
Acquaintances?
Yeah.
Okay, great question. So what I would send them is okay, when was the last time you talked to them?
Let's say I talk to my friends maybe once, twice every month.
Okay, that's good. So I would ask him something really simple. Hey Bob, how are you doing? Just an opening text. Hey, how are you doing? That kind of thing. And he's going to respond, hey, I'm doing good. How are you doing? Say, hey, listen, Bob, can I ask a big favor? And of course, he's going to say, sure. What's up? Say, listen, I started a business with a business partner, and I just want to do a 15-minute Zoom call with you to just share with you exactly what we do in case you may know someone. And then he'll ask, well, what's it all about? And say, hey, we deal with financial services, insurance, and investments. But it'll really help me with my training because my business partner is teaching me. So is Tuesday or Wednesday better? Is Wednesday or Thursday better? Alternate. Whenever you ask for an appointment, always give alternate of choice. So give them two options. Is Monday or Tuesday better? Is Wednesday or Thursday better? And then when they say Wednesday, say, okay, great. Is in the afternoon or the evening time better? Is morning or evening better? Always give two choices. Never, ever, ever ask, when's good for you? Because if you say that, then they'll be like, well, summertime will be good, July. And you're like, damn it, right? So always give two choices. Does that help, Chris?
Yeah, it did help.
Okay, good. Cam, how about you, Mr. Atlanta?
Hey, how you doing? All right. My question is, it's kind of more on the appointment side for like insurance and things, but what about, how do you defer those older people that say, oh, we never want to switch, we're so comfortable?
Okay, so
those comfortable people.
Good question. So in that sense, this is the challenge that's happening. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think of a good analogy. Okay. Let's give me a name. Give me a picture of in your head. Who are you thinking about?
My grandmas and just in general, not even mine, just older, the older crowd, like, even talking to my friend mom, she, just that older crowd,
Sure.
I've been with my insurance 30 some years, I never switched.
Okay. So take that mom. Okay. We'll call her Jennifer. Okay. Just for giggles. Okay. Now, what would you say? Now, you're Cam. This is what I love about everyone on this call. But Cam is young, but he's very respectful. He's got that's what I like about him and Mauro. They're the youngest ones on the crowd, but they're super respectful. So Cam would never be blunt like this, but I promise you, this is what he's thinking. Okay, and hold on, let me explain the analogy in a second. Right. So Jennifer, who's 48 years old, never played sports in her life, comes up to Cam and says, Cam, hey, I know you played football at a really high level. You know what? I just watched ESPN for the first time, and I watched the Broncos-Cardinals game, and I think I can help you be a better football player. So will you learn from me, and I'll help you get to the NFL? Now, be honest, Cam. What are you thinking?
This full of crap.
Yes. Like, what is this lady smoking? Okay, right? Mm-hmm. There is something wacky tobacco going on, right? Okay. So now, I know that sounds corny, but what do you think Jennifer is thinking about us if we're 20 years old, 21, 22 years old, and telling them or asking them about their finances? Mm-hmm. And inferring, maybe not directly saying it, but inferring that, hey, if you tell me all your financial information, I can help you get better financial situation.
Right.
Right?
So, right. I was not saying the same.
What does this kid know? I'm 48 years old. What does this kid know? Right? So it'll immediately, their guard goes up.
Exactly.
Okay, they get really defensive. So how you want to approach it, you want to take what's called a one down approach. Instead of, when I say I can help you with your finances, that's a one up approach, meaning I'm trying to be the expert over that person, over Jennifer.
Mhm.
You want to take the one down approach where you're not the expert and you openly admit that you're not the expert. And that will, so I'll say it like this. So let's say I'm calling Jennifer and I'm Cam, I'm 22 years old. So, so Cam, you be Jennifer, okay? Ring, ring.
Okay. Hey, hi, hello.
Hi, Miss Johnson. This is Cam. How are you doing?
Good. How you doing?
I'm great. I'm great. Hey, listen, I have a quick question. I know it's kind of crazy that I'm calling and, you know, right? But can I ask you a quick question?
Yes, you can.
You know, I've always respected your family and, you know, your son, Johnny, and I are best friends and I'm starting a business with an older business partner and we're really excited about the business and I was thinking about who I really respect the most. And you were one of the people that came to mind. And I was just wondering if my business partner and I could do a Zoom call with you for like 15 minutes, just share with you exactly what we do. And that way, if you know of anyone you could recommend, or, you know, you could maybe, you know, help us with that. Would you be offended if we did a 15-minute Zoom call?
No, I wouldn't be offended at all.
Okay, great. Now, of course, she's going to ask, what is it all about? Right?
Mhm.
So you can
Exactly.
just say, yeah, it's all about, we do life insurance, we do investments. Now, I'm not looking, you know, put your checkbook away. You know, we're not looking to, you know, sell you anything, but we just really would love for you to just, you know, hear what we have. And then if it's exciting to you, then we can kind of go from there. But it would really help me out a lot with my training.
Okay. Well, I'm saying that seems that I could do that for you.
Thank you so much, you know, Miss Johnson or whatever, you know, I appreciate it, you know, and see, notice how the one down approach means I'm taking a back seat to her. I'm kind of
Right.
putting her up on the pedestal saying, I really respect you. I think you're amazing, you know, which is true. I mean, I hope you're not trying to set appointments with jerks, right? Okay. So that's how I would do it. But the second that you start talking finance with
Mhm.
them, that's when you're going to hang yourself. You're going to get in big trouble. Because they're always they're never going to really tell you straight up because they're, you know, they want to be politically correct or whatever. But in their back of their mind, they're thinking, who this kid think he is, right?
Right.
Talking to me about finance, you know, so, you know, so you always got to take that one down approach kind of thing.
Okay.
Okay. Great question. Now, it's a little different. Like, let's take, you know, Jeremy as an example. Okay. Well, Jeremy, how old are you? You're like 31 or something. No, how old are you?
No, I'm 45, Mark.
Whew. Man, he looks great for 45, man. Let me tell you. But you think about it now, he's 45. So if Jeremy called you, Cam, and said, you know, hey, Cam, listen, you know, Jeremy can kind of take that one up position a little bit. Just simply because, because you're not, you know, Cam, you won't get offended if a 45-year-old tries to teach you something. You'll be like, oh, cool, man.
Especially about money. Right.
Yeah, exactly. Right. You know, but a 45-year-old will get offended if a 22-year-old tries to teach him. Okay. So that's a great question, Cam. Great question. Andrew, we'll do one more. Andrew, how about you?
I guess a question would be like I'm more, you know, I'm in Texas, so it's harder to stay communicated with y'all. Knowing that I have other stuff going on. I do, you know, all more like deliveries on the weekends and stuff like that. Usually my only time off. What would you say, especially being new, how would you come across going to meet new people and just bringing them interest to the industry?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so a couple ideas. Now, one is, yeah, Andrew, you are super busy because you have a full-time job and a full-time business. So that's why, you know, communicating with Dan and myself is really important. So maybe every week, maybe have 1 or 2 times a week that you have set in stone, like Monday at 3 o'clock or whatever, that you have a time set with Dan that you guys can do some training. Okay, so that way it's just like clockwork, you know, twice a week in your off time that you and Dan are going to connect and you're going to do some training. Now, one idea for you is, because, you know, you own a business, you own a breakfast place. Now, let me ask you this. Do you have a lot of regulars that come in, or are they always random every day?
It's usually random, especially like when the ones that come and pick up, because it's right off the highway. So
Oh.
they're typically semis or stuff like that.
Are they over, like are they people that live in the area typically, or are they just driving through, going from New York to LA?
I mean, that's what I would probably think. Just regulars driving, you know, you would never see constantly.
What I would do is, you know, maybe a random idea or something like that is, you know, you could put up a little sign in your store saying, ask me how I can get a free donut. Okay. And then they ask you, hey, how do I get a free donut? Say, listen, I'm diversifying my company. We do insurance and investments. And if you're willing to do a 10-minute Zoom call with me and my trainer, you know, well, I'll give you a free donut, you know, and then, you know, and what does the donut cost? Like 20 cents or 15 cents? You know, I don't know. I have no idea. But, you know, and so that's one option right there, you know, to kind of bring, you know, use that business to make money in another business as well. But the biggest way, the most important way is, I would be making sure I'm keeping in contact with Dan, okay? Every day, you know, every day I would somehow, you know, whether it's texting, phone call, whatever it is, always be in touch with him or myself. And of course, I'll be there to back up and help and whatnot. But the more communication you have with your trainer, the better. And this is what I would suggest to all of you. Listen, my phone is never off, okay? My phone is never off. So do this. I challenge you guys. Shoot me a text, you know, at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock in the morning and saying, hey, good morning, Mark. How are you doing? You know, what's the news for the day? Or something like that. Keep that communication line open. Don't depend on me always communicating with you. You focus on communicating with me. And then all of a sudden, you know, because that tells me, oh my gosh, Mauro's really motivated. He keeps calling me. He keeps texting me. Like, man, I want to spend more time with him to help him get off the ground, right? And that's how you show your coaches you're motivated. My coach at one point was Neil Gerfine, who is one of the top guys in the company. And every day we would talk. Every single day we were talking, even on Sundays. It didn't matter. And because I knew I had a limited amount of time with him, and I needed to learn from the number one guy in the company at the time. So, so that's what my suggestion to you guys is. Now, the last thing I want to do is I'm going to challenge you guys. Okay. I want you to write down 3 quality people that you want to recruit and send me a text with their names. I don't need their numbers. I don't care about that. But just text me the names of 3 people you want to recruit. And then I'm going to help you set those appointments. I'm going to teach you how to do it. I think we've taught about it, or we've talked a lot about it here. But we're going to set appointments with them, and then let's go out and recruit them this week. Okay. So I challenge you, when we get off this call right now, it's going to tell me a lot of who is really serious and who isn't. So send me a text, you know, with 3 names, and then I'm going to help you in any way I can. Okay. You guys ready?
Sounds good.
All right, let's make it happen. You know, I expect
Sounds
this.
good. I'm ready.
Hey, we got people from Atlanta, Houston, El Paso, you know, I mean, like everywhere around the globe here, okay? Or at least in this country, all right? So this Dog Pound Nation is going nationwide. Let's go dominate. God bless you all. And then send me that text, okay? Take care.
Take care.
Take care.